What's up, guys? This is Josh here, otherwise known as the UGA Dog on Twitter. Make sure you all go give me a follow if you haven't already. Today I'm going to be talking about who I believe should win the starting job as a quarterback against North Carolina Week 1. I think this is a battle between Grayson Lambert and Jake Eason. I don't think Bryce Ramsey has a chance. But first, we need to go over Grayson Lambert's season last year. And there's one important thing that everybody has been overlooking. Grayson Lambert obviously set an NCAA completion percentage record against South Carolina. I think all of us Georgia fans were then crowning him the next best thing at Georgia. That soon became overlooked. He got us in some bad situations. Alabama exposed him, and the rest of the season he looked like trash. I'm not going to be nice about it. It's just the facts. When Nick Chubb went down against Tennessee, which I was at that game, and it was just like a tire had been popped. It looked like the tire was deflating as the game went on. The team was not the same after Nick Chubb went down. Grayson Lambert, he had two healthy running backs at the time before he got hurt. He looked great when he had two healthy running backs. And whenever one of those guys went down, Sonny Michel took the load, and it was, lack for a better term, Grayson Lambert looked like a backup ACC quarterback forced into a SEC atmosphere, which, if you know the ACC, they don't have really good quarterbacks other than a couple in the past couple years. So, how does a backup from Virginia come to SEC and start? That's how it goes right there. What happened last year? He might have two interceptions, but there were plenty of times that the defenders should have caught them. They were tipped. They dropped. So that's a misleading stat right there, is two interceptions. He only had 12 touchdowns. Some quarterbacks get that in 3 games. He's not very good at throwing it downfield, and he only attempted 256 passes. And a lot of those passes, they were nowhere near the receiver. They were in the ground, or they were overthrown, or you just threw them away. So he doesn't have a good eye. He's a game manager, and here's what people are overlooking. Like I said before, he crumbled when he didn't have two good running backs. And what are we doing game 1 against North Carolina? Both of our running backs are hurt. So we're saying let's put him in there because he has experience. Did you not see what he did last year when he didn't have running backs? He had Sonny Michel, and he was good. He had Brendan Douglas and Keith Marshall. He did not do very well. We did finish games there at the end, but they were all hard to watch at times. He did not look great. He did not look even good. He looked below average throwing the ball. Sonny Michel, believe it or not, I think won more games than Grayson Lambert. Grayson Lambert, all he does is he's not going to try to make turnovers. But guess what? Like I said, he only had 2 interceptions, but a lot of those, that's misleading. Don't use that. He only had one good running back last year, Sonny Michel. He looked horrible. Sonny Michel did not look horrible. Grayson Lambert looked horrible late in the year. He was not the same Grayson Lambert as we saw against South Carolina. So why are we asking him to go week 1 when he doesn't have a proven running back? We do not know the health of Nick Chubb. I'd expect Nick Chubb to be back before Sonny Michel. You're basically throwing Elijah Holyfield into the fire with a below-average quarterback in Grayson Lambert, and I do not think that's a recipe for success because he doesn't have any running game, and we're asking Grayson Lambert to make throws that he's incapable of making. So that's disaster. He could easily have 3 or 4 interceptions. He could easily have more interceptions in the first game this year than he did last year because he doesn't have a proven running back. That North Carolina defense is overrated. They got toasted by Baylor in the bowl game. So, just to go over some numbers here. Excuse me, my eyes. Had a bit of eyesight problems today. Let's just look at these. When you look at Grayson Lambert, the numbers are so misleading. He was ninth last year in the SEC in passing yards. Horrible. He was 7th in yards per attempt. That's horrible. It shouldn't be happening at the University of Georgia. Passing efficiency ratings 5th. That's misleading, like I said, with the interceptions. And he was 8th in passing touchdowns, which is also, it doesn't factor in the decision. He does not have a proven running back coming in. He should not be started. Now, why should Jacob Eason be started? That's where I'm going to go into next. This guy can make every throw possible. I think if you throw him to the Wolves day one, if you give him a freshman quarterback, freshman running back, that's going to be the duo of the future, I believe, Holyfield and Eason. You're going to have young guys on the receiving core. You might as well throw them to the Wolves and let the puppies get used to one another and have big time. That's North Carolina, as much as I down the ACC, that's a pretty good game to start out if you're a freshman like Jacob Eason and Holyfield. You know, you're going to have Nata in there too as well. That's a very good game to get some experience in. The next game's a cupcake game, but why he can make throws. And if you don't have any running backs, you're going to be asked to make throws. And do we really want to see Grayson Lambert make throws? No, we do not. We do not want to see his 5 to 10 yard passes. We got a guy in Javon Williams is 6'4", 6'5". This guy can go up and catch a ball in the end zone. Who's going to get it there? Who's going to get it to him better? Who's going to get it to Terry Godwin? Who's going to get it to Terry Godwin the best? You know, they're going to be doing slants and all this stuff if you give the ball to Grayson Lambert. If you give it to Jacob Eason, we're going to have some downfield passes. And hear me out. You're probably going to have 2 interceptions, but guess what? You could get 4 touchdowns easily if you had Jacob Eason in there. He's easily going to be a highlight reel. And I'm not getting overhyped on this. This is just common sense. Do we really want a guy with no running back help that sucked last year? Do we really want him throwing the ball 20 to 30 times? No, we do not. So, while I do believe Grayson Lambert will provide experience, that experience is no good. He absolutely sucked last year. I do believe you're going to have Jacob Eason starting at some point during the season, so why not now? North Carolina, they're overrated. They're not going to be good, I don't think, this year. Put the man with the plan, the guy with the promise, the next best thing at Georgia, a future number 1 pick, put him in, let him run with his puppies, and take him to the Wolves. I'm telling you what, you will not, and I repeat, you will not be happy with Grayson Lambert there. And to a lot of people, they're going to think I'm crazy because they're going to say, well, this game means a lot. Guess what, guys? We might not win 10 games this year. This is a building block for the next 3 years. You got to think in terms of the next 3 to 4 years. This year, I think we could easily win the SEC championship, but put the guy that has the best chance to win. If you do not have healthy running backs, you got to have a guy that can throw the ball. That guy is Jacob Eason. Grayson Lambert is below average. He did win us games last year by not turning the ball over. But we have the number 1 recruit in the nation coming in with all this promise, with all this talent. If he just goes through summer camp and puts all of it together, puts all the situations of a game into play, and excels in them, I have no doubts whatsoever with this kid. This guy knows what to do. He is special. Kirby Smart, put him in.